Going. Guys, Crypto With Dinny, and it's Dinny here, and welcome tonight, today, this afternoon, whatever time it is wherever you are. I'm going to chat a little bit. Dinny, I'm very low. Does this seat go any higher? Sure, you can come up. I'm going to chat. Scott asked a question, why only 21 million Bitcoin? So we'll answer that question, or why 21 million Bitcoin was his question. And James also asked, how to take profits. When should we take profits? What does profit taking mean? Are we taking profits on our interest? Are we taking profits on our assets? How does it work? So that's what I'm going to cover on the videos. I'm on catch up. It's been a really busy week for me. It's been a really busy couple of weeks. Obviously, being January, a lot of people are setting up strategies and etc. And I haven't been doing as many lives. So today I have no boot camp on. Today I have the day off. So I'm just sitting down, trying to get some content out to you guys. And we'll answer some of the questions. So we'll have a bit of crack. Hope you're having a good Saturday. Remember your daily exercise. I've done mine. Got my boxing done in the shed there this morning. Your daily exercise. Just hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Join the community. So it's much easier when you're in a community. Crypto can be a lonely place on your own. That's why it's great to become part of the community and see what we're all doing. Because we all support each other and the goal is that we all succeed. So guys, welcome to Crypto With Dinny. I am Dinny. Ignore the scammers. Unfortunately, on social media, they'll be on about airdrops and all this sort of rubbish, messaging you. I don't message anyone. If you've got a message from someone that looks like me, I can promise you, it's not me. Don't reply, just block them. It's an unfortunate thing about social media, and there's nothing I can do about it. I delete 4 or 5 accounts a day, and they set up another 100. So please, don't send your money to any strangers on the internet. Unless you can hear my voice, then you know you're talking to me. If you can see my mad head like you can now you know I'm talking to you. Okay, if you can't, you might be talking to me. In fact, I'd be pretty sure you're not talking to me. So please, just be careful. The last thing I want is for people to be scammed out of their money. And guys, remember, so this week I was consulting with financial advisor and teaching them about Bitcoin. I've done this a lot, all right? But I personally am the financial advisor. I'm a Bitcoiner. Been someone who invests into this space and put thousands of hours into a lot of workshops and internships and stuff around cryptocurrencies. But I'm not a financial advisor, so I can't give you financial advice, so don't take anything you hear on Crypto With Dinny as financial advice, okay? It's entertainment, it's a bit of crack. So I scribbled down a few things, and we'll just sort of work through them. Don't forget the daily exercise. I see a few of you are lurkers there. Just lurking. Remember, index finger, press the like, press the subscribe. You're in the community. Boom. All right, go. So Scott asked me, Dinny, why only 21 million Bitcoin? And I wrote down a few little notes. No exercise, injured today. No exercise for me, injured today. I'm injured as well. I see a big strap on the knee. That's why I was boxing, because my knee is banjaxed. But I can still do exercise and done a bit of yoga. But yeah, find a way, not an excuse. Jesus, I'm giving the lads a hard time now because they're injured. Apologies, sure. Rest is the best thing, isn't it? And that's what the physios say. So why 21 million? To be honest, the number doesn't really matter, okay? The difference between Bitcoin and our existing fiat system. So fiat money, if you hear the expression fiat money, I'll just try and keep explaining everything so we don't lose anyone, depending on where you are on your journey. People ask me all the time, Dinny, what's this fiat money you're always talking about? Fiat money is just like euros, okay? It's like government money. It means it's sort of by decree, you must use this money. And that's the way it is. Like, you know, you have to pay your taxes in euros. You can't pay your taxes in gold or anything like this, you go to jail. So that's what a fiat money is. It's just a government money. You know, we use the euro, we have the sterling, the dollar, there's all sorts of different types of fiat money. But they're basically backed by nothing. They're backed by an army, okay? They're backed by a government. There's nothing, it's not like our old money when we had sound money, it was backed by gold. If you had, you know, $1, there was a weighting of gold sitting in a vault somewhere that was backing that money, okay? Whereas now money isn't backed by anything. And a lot of us who understand sound money see this as being a big problem and Bitcoin being the solution because it is a sound money. And we've only been on this fiat experiment for 50 years, so it's not like we've done this forever. For the entire history of humans, we use sound money. And in the last 50 years, we transitioned to this fiat money. And I'd argue that it's not working, and so do a lot of people, because if you look at, there's a website called WTF happened in 1971. I know I'm on a tangent, let me finish it. Bear with me. But you'll see that in 1971, when we went off sound money, crime increased, divorces increased, jail occupancy increased, unemployment increased. It's like, what the hell happened to the world in 1971? We went off sound money. Check it out for yourself, have a look. So what Bitcoin aims to do is, it brings us back to a sound monetary policy, okay? Money that can't just be created out of fresh air and expanded, all right? Let me see, where do we go? So to understand Bitcoin, it's probably easier to understand Bitcoin than it is to understand the fiat system, because if we try and understand the fiat system, our existing system, I'll just say euros, it's like, how much euros will there be next year? And it's like, no idea. There's a small group of people get in a room and they decide. Even though all the euros I hold in my bank, them deciding how much there'll be next year affects me, but I don't have any say in that. If they make more, what I have is worth less and it buys me less. And that's why we're going through inflation right now, because we inflated the money supply, and the more units of currency that are out there in the world chasing the same goods and services, because goods and services are fixed, okay, and we have more units of currency, it takes more units of currency to buy these. And then, you know, people don't really notice this, they just see the price of stuff going up and they go, oh look, cars are more expensive now, electricity is more expensive, houses are more expensive, chicken is more expensive, whatever. It's really that your unit of account, your euro, has less purchasing power, so it takes more of them to buy these things, okay? So making sure everyone's with us. So that's the euro system. To understand the Bitcoin system, it's very simple. How many Bitcoin will there be? There'll be 21 million. That's all there'll ever be. So it's a fixed money supply, and that's the amazing thing about it. That was the first thing I learned about Bitcoin. And it's what really got me interested in it when I heard, like, there's only 21 million, because I understand scarcity, I understand supply and demand, I understand anything that's scarce has value. Like, why is a gold coin valuable? Because it's really scarce. It's hard to mine, it's hard to get. Where's my coins? Check it out. There's an ounce of gold, that's worth about 1,600 euros. There's an ounce of silver, that's worth about 30 quid. Why? Some people prefer the colour silver. I like colour silver as well, I would like them about equal. But why is this 30 quid and this one is 1,600? Because silver is much more abundant. It's easier to mine. Now, it's still a lot more difficult and precious than, you know, cheaper metals, okay, like a €2 that's made out of, you know, metals that are more abundant. But gold is more scarce and it's difficult to get, and that's what it gives its value. So scarcity is where value comes from, and sort of where price comes from. So let me see, where do we go next? By having a fixed money supply, guys, remember, if you enjoyed the videos, hit the like. We're going to talk about why 21 million Bitcoin, then we're going to get into how to take profits. So I've written down a few notes here, so I might just have a look at them and see if I follow them track. So, oh yeah, I haven't done a live in a while, lads. I'm a bit rusty, am I? Or not a live, but like an explanation video. Gee, you must be months since I've done one. So by having a money that doesn't expand or debase, what we get is a fixed unit of measurement. At the moment, we don't have a fixed unit of measurement. Maybe to try and understand that, I'd say we have a meter. You know, the meter is a fixed unit of measurement in length, okay? Or we have a kilogram, which is a fixed unit of measurement of weight. And across the world, for as long as we've been using the meter and kilogram standard, that's been the case. And it makes life easy. You know, if you want to build a house, if you have a meter and it's constantly changing, you know, like fiat money, it's the value of it's constantly changing. Like, how the hell do you build a house? Because you're like, it was this length last year, and now a meter is a little bit longer or a little bit shorter. You know, carnage, really, really difficult to do. But that's what we do with our money. We have this unit of measurement that's constantly changing. Crazy stuff. And we wonder why we're trashing the earth. How could we not? We're in a... So, money is a measurement system for entrepreneurial efforts. Okay, or another way to put it is human time, because we exchange our time for money. So money is a measurement system for entrepreneurial efforts. But fiat money, because it goes down in value, there's not a person here, well, maybe there is. If you don't realize this, you may learn it. This is fairly basic stuff, but this €2 today will buy me a certain amount of goods and services, not a whole lot, all right? But I think everyone would agree that in 5 years' time, I'll get less goods and services for this €2. Would you agree with that? Of course you would. Remember what you buy with your €2. Remember penny sweets? Like, they don't exist anymore. You know, you have to buy 10p sweets. The money has debased like 10 times. And some people just don't notice that this is happening. Okay? So that's the fact, that the measurement tool is constantly changing. Alright? And money is the measurement tool. Okay? And it's to help us measure entrepreneurial efforts, or like I call money. You know, money is a system, is a technology to store human time, okay? So, fixing of the money supply, like Bitcoin, where the money supply can't be expanded, it says only 21 million, that's all there is, and we stay like this. Like, we decide, this is a meter, so many, 1,000 millimeters, and we're going to keep this measurement forever. We're not going to change it, We're not going to screw around with it. We're not going to adjust it year by year. This is it, lads. Now you know what you're working with. Go out there and make stuff happen. Okay? So our fiat money, it doesn't have a fixed measurement, and it's a problem. And like, you can apply that to everything other than Bitcoin. Like, how much gold is there in the world today? No one knows. How much gold will there be in the world today? No one knows. We can estimate that the gold supply inflates at, around 1.5%. And that's why this thing retains its value, because every year, from entrepreneurial efforts of businesses and gold mines and other stuff, they can only inflate this by 1.5%-ish. But we're humans. We're smart. We get better technologies all the time. What if we learn how to mine gold and find gold much better? And instead of 1.5%, we're able to inflate the gold supply at 10%. Well, Dinny's gold coin mightn't be worth 1,600 euros anymore, because the amount of gold coming in to the economy, to the population, to the world will increase. Okay? And that's just sort of the supply and demand, and the issuance being known. But Bitcoin is the only thing that the issuance is known. Everything else, it's not known. Fiat money, we haven't a clue. It changes all the time. The unit of measurement changes all the time. But Bitcoin is this known unit of measurement. The second thing that it does is, Bitcoin was created during crisis in 2008 for a crisis, and we're now in that crisis, I think. And it's a money printing crisis, okay? Regardless of what you think is going on in the world, it's a money printing crisis that we're printing so much money, we're devaluing all the holders of money. Anyone who holds your euros are being debased, devalued, and that's because we're expanding the money supply. Governments around the world have no choice to deal with the situation. They're having to print loads of money and push it out into the economy, because it's a massive Ponzi scheme, and it just needs more and more liquidity. Otherwise, banks start crashing, the whole thing starts falling down, and they need armies on the street. Now, maybe that's worst case scenario, but they're pumping money into the system and they can't stop. Now, where do we go next? So, what have we covered? Go back to my notes here, I'm waffling a bit. Good to see a good crew on a Saturday. Thanks, guys. So, Bitcoin. The idea of Bitcoin being created in a crisis for a crisis, it is to protect people against monetary expansion. If you own Bitcoin, okay, let's say you own 0.1 of a Bitcoin, you own 0.1 of 21 million. Unlike if you own €1 million, you own €1 million of, how much euros is there? I don't know. How many will be next year? I don't know. More than there is this year. So whatever euros I have are now worth less, or they buy me less. Whereas in Bitcoin terms, you own 0.1 of a Bitcoin, it's 0.1 of 21 million. And in 100 years, it's still 0.1 of 21 million. So it's this amazing closed system that there's no political sway. You can't have a politician coming in and saying, I'm going to promise you this, and then another politician, I'm going to promise you that. And they're all arguing over who's going to make the most empty promises gets in. Whatever. This system is just like, nah, there's no argument about the inflation of the money supply. It's a fixed money supply, and that's it. So it retains its value. You can't be debased. If you choose to store your wealth in Bitcoin terms, you can't be debased. You own 0.1 of 21 million in 1,000 years. That can't be said with our fiat money, okay? And that's one of the most amazing things. And when I started to understand that fact, it really got me interested in Bitcoin and sent me down the rabbit hole. Now, the supply is known and immutable in Bitcoin, and that just means that humans can't change it. So again, one of my favorite qualities about Bitcoin is its immutability. And that means it's beyond human control. The same can't be said for pretty much every single other cryptocurrency. That's why, although I invest into them, although I hold them, although I use them, to increase my portfolio, I understand that they don't have immutability. Bitcoin is the only one that's beyond human control. All of our cryptocurrencies, they have VCs behind them, they have charismatic leaders behind them, they have investors behind them, they have bag holders, people who pre-mined, people who can adjust the monetary policy, people who can change it and tinker it. But with Bitcoin, it's not. It's just this open source monetary network that's got immutability. And that's why I trust it, because I'm not trusting people. I'm trusting maths and code. I'm trusting physics. I'm trusting the same laws that make the earth go around the sun and make an airplane not fall from the sky, but stay in the sky, and an apple fall on Isaac Newton's head, I suppose, where it was going. All right, and that's why we trust Bitcoin. Now, and again, that's one of the interesting things about it, is this immutability and its fixed money supply, okay? And that's why it's store value, and that's why people like Bill Miller and these really savvy investors, like Bill Miller is storing 50% of his net worth in Bitcoin now. He's the only man to beat the S&P 500 for 15 years straight, so he's possibly one of the best money managers in the world, and he's came to the conclusion that he needs 50% of his personal money is stored in Bitcoin. What if it goes down 20% next week? Bill doesn't care. His money is stored in Bitcoin for the next decade. It's to protect his money from the monetary expansion that will, that we're going to see over this decade. Guys, if you like the tips, do me a favor, hit the like button. That'd be great. Joe McGrath, there are thousands and possibly hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin lost or misplaced. And in the future, possibly millions. It's finite. If it's finite, will these be replaced? Good question, Joe. No, they won't. So there's only ever going to be 21 million Bitcoin, but a couple of million may have been lost. Bitcoins get lost every year. In fact, on my courses, I deal with people who didn't have the correct training, didn't understand how to operate their wallets, and they go and lose their Bitcoin. And they're gone forever. They can't be remined, they can't be reminted, they can't. If you lose your Bitcoins, they're gone forever. So it just means there's even less. There's even less than, there won't be 21 million Bitcoins in circulation because a couple of million are already lost. And it's like, if you want to give a charitable donation to the world, just die with your Bitcoin. Make sure that just makes less in supply in existence in the world, and it makes the value of the existing coins even more valuable. Good question, Joe. Guys, if you enjoyed the videos, if you like learning about Bitcoin and you haven't checked out my Bitcoin Basics, it's a free workshop that I do every week. Well, I don't do it every week, but I've got one next Thursday, www.cryptowithdinny.com. Jump on, get a ticket, they're free. I teach you all the basics, so how you can understand Bitcoin, how to get started. I also pay products, full disclosure. I do Bitcoin Bootcamp, I do one-on-one private consulting. But if you just want a little hand to get yourself to understand Bitcoin, I'd be delighted to teach you. I'm very passionate about it, I enjoy it, I put a lot of study into it. And my mission is to share this with people. Lovely. And hitting the like button or even commenting or sharing is really, really cool for the channel. It helps get the message out. My goal is, I've been up to all other countries. I've been to Bitcoin events in other countries. We're so far behind in Ireland, okay? A lot of countries are way ahead of us. My mission is to get Irish people clued in to Bitcoin, because the media's just bashed it, and the media's kept people for years. And I want people to get over that and to go and do the work for themselves and have a look at this thing for themselves. Being a Bitcoiner, there's no better place for my money than stored in Bitcoin. There's nowhere else where it'll perform as well. And my journey is to teach people, just get started. Just get off zero. Get a tiny little bit of Bitcoin so you start learning about understanding this thing. How can we leave access to our wallets to our kid's partner? Is it safe to give keys to a solicitor? If you trust your solicitor, it is. Obviously, you can put things in a will. You can leave instructions for your heirs and all that sort of stuff, Al. But it's something that you need to consider is if you die unexpected, you don't want your Bitcoin portfolio, your crypto to die with you. So you do need to leave instructions for your heirs on how they can get access to the crypto, because if there's a load of passwords in your head, and as I say, it's crazy, because you could fall off a motorbike, forget who I am, and it's all lost. So it's important that you set yourself up properly. I do all that on the Bitcoin Bootcamp. We go through all that, all the inheritance planning and all that sort of stuff. So you understand the do's and do nots, and we do a whole module of security and all that. Anyway, moving on, James asked me, what's meant by taking profits? How should I take profits? How do we take profits? So we'll talk about that. And it's a good question. It depends, is the answer to most things, isn't it? So we'll just work through one or two things. We'll start simple. If I was investing in crypto, if I was me, and I am, as far as I know, but if I was investing into speculative altcoin, and I put some money in, and the thing doubled in value, what I would do is, me being me, who I think I am, I would withdraw my initial investment. Okay, and I'd get my money back, so I have it to go and put into another speculative altcoin. So I'd be pulling my money back out, leaving it in USDC, a stable coin, and then I'd deploy it into another thing. I wouldn't just keep popping money in into altcoins. But if one performs and you double your money, just take your initial investment out and you have zero risk. Okay. Now, I like to manage risk, and I teach people how to manage the risk because I think risk management is important. Warren Buffett, rule number one of investing: don't lose money. So I would sort of abide to that pretty tightly. Now, some people would like to take on more risk, and they'd be like, oh no, wait till it goes up 4 times, whatever. you know, you can do that, but I'm just saying a conservative strategy, you buy a speculative altcoin, doubles in value, take your initial investment out, put it back, leave it on the side, and then put it into something else. When it doubles, take it back. You always have your money, and you have these things called moon bags now. They're just working for you, little bags of coins that actually cost you nothing. So that's a pretty conservative strategy. But there's a sort of deeper understanding of this whole thing, and I'll cover. I suppose I'll go to profit points first, and then we'll loop back to it. So if you plan your exit before you enter, it's a good strategy. So you know, if I'll give you an example. Chainlink's cryptocurrency, I didn't exit on Chainlink at $28. In around January 2021, Chainlink hit $28, and I had to sell it. I didn't want to sell it because the whole market was green, everything was pumping, and and I'm a human, so I suffer from emotions called fear and greed. All right, and I was afraid of missing out on more gains, and I was greedy that I wanted them, so I didn't want to sell it. But because I made my strategy and my plan, and I understand as an investor, unless you have a strategy and a plan, you're going to get wrecked in crypto. If you're in here operating on emotion, buying a bit of this because your friend says this and you heard about this and someone said that, forget it. Prepare to give your money to people who have strategies and plans and who action them. That's just how all markets work. So, you know, I was thinking Chainlink's going to 50, it's going to 100. Why am I selling at 28? And it inevitably did. I think Chainlink went to nearly $60. But then it did crash back down to 8 or something. So I felt like a hero because I executed my trade and I sold my Chainlink. And I stuck to my strategy. But the whole point of this, what I'm trying to say is, you have profit-taking figures that you can work out for yourself. If it hits this number, I'm happy because I get to do this, that, or the other. And you get those figures ahead of time. So it takes planning. Up on my wall here is my strategy. It's printed, it's on the wall, and it stays there. And every fucking week when I'm doing my consulting, I'm taking it down, I'm showing it to people. My phone's balanced there, so I'm afraid to even touch the table. But most people investing in crypto have no strategy. They have nothing written down. They haven't put pen to paper. They haven't put finger to keyboard, and it's just all done on emotion. And that's why they will get wrecked. They will give their money away, and it's unfortunate. And that's why I teach people to create strategies, create plans, and just execute them, because this is one of the most volatile, crazy markets that you can ever be involved in. You cannot be in here operating on emotion. You just get wrecked. And so picking your numbers ahead of time and executing them and being happy, saying if that hits that, well, I'll be happy. Boom. And you don't have to liquidate all your positions. You know, you can have a strategy like sell down 33%. And then if it hits this one, sell down another 33%. Meanwhile, you're still DCAing into positions possibly. Anyway, it won't get too complicated. The third thing I want to talk about, let me have a sip of water while you're doing the like button. What's the feed like on YouTube? Because I haven't been live on YouTube much. Facebook works well. We have a good crew on Facebook. The last thing is how to take profits. You need to understand what you're doing. Yeah, and let me explain that a bit better. If I'm taking profits, it's like, okay, that means I'm selling something to get something else. So my plan with Bitcoin and what I teach people is to create this Bitcoin pension plan. Okay? It's an alternative pension plan. Now, if I sell out Bitcoin and I exchange it for euros, what am I doing in that instance? I'm selling an asset that's going up in value, being Bitcoin. You know, Bitcoin is on this 13-year bull run. It's just going up. There's massive volatility day to day. But if you're an investor and you're patient and you're prepared to ride through the volatility, it doesn't affect you. Okay? But if I was to sell my Bitcoin for euros, I've sold an asset that's gone up in value and I've exchanged it for an asset that goes down in value in purchasing power. Bitcoin's purchasing power goes up, euros go down. So that doesn't make me a very savvy investor. It gives me some short-term gains, but I'm an investor and I'm trying to create this thing for my retirement plan. So my goal, my personal goal, you don't have to stick to it. I teach people to accumulate Bitcoin, think in Bitcoin. And so then the goal is every month to have more Bitcoin at the end of the month than you did at the start of the month, or at the end of the week, than you did at the start of the week, or at the end of the year, than you did at the start of the year. So it's a Bitcoin accumulation plan. So I use my altcoins to pull profits into Bitcoin. Okay, I use some of my wages, my work, when I get paid every month, I put it into Bitcoin. So I'm constantly accumulating Bitcoin. I use my little Bitcoin miner in the house to accumulate Bitcoin. All right, so the strategy is to accumulate Bitcoin. So then the question is, well, if my strategy is to accumulate, why would I sell it? you know, because I'd be selling an asset that's going up in value for an asset that's going down in value. Now that being said, with planning, you can come up with numbers. If Bitcoin hits this number, well, I get to do this thing. So it's rather than just being, excuse me, a pie in the sky, oh, I should sell some now. The thing about selling in Bitcoin is that it's such a volatile market. No one can time it. No one can market time. All the billionaires, I follow them all. I've done internships with some of them. I've done workshops with some of them. It cost me a lot of money, but I think it's worth it. Spending money on my education is priceless because of the returns I can get in it. They've told me that they can't trade it. And some of them are world famous traders. And they can't trade it. So it's not a hope in hell that anyone, normal people, are going to be able to trade cryptos and understand when to get in and when to get out and buy in high and sell low. It's all a load of bullshit. Excuse the language. Alright? Chris, MM Crypto, biggest trader on YouTube, liquidated there 3 weeks ago. 7.5 million trade. And he's the best. Remember, he's the best. So, if we can't trade it, hodling is the best strategy. I done a video earlier talking about why Jeff Bezos is the richest man in the world. Go check it out. But basically because he's a hodler. He's prepared to hold through the volatility. He's not prepared to trade it. But the long and short of it is, my exit strategy and my strategy, my personal strategy, which is mine, is to accumulate more Bitcoin. So in that instance, I've no interest in selling my Bitcoin. I'll sell my Bitcoin in 2030. And I won't sell much. I might sell 0.0001 for a Ferrari or something. Or maybe I'll sell 0.001 for a Ferrari. Maybe I won't get a Ferrari. Maybe I'll get a Tesla or whatever it is. But do you know what I mean? I've no interest in selling my Bitcoin until way out in the future. If Bitcoin hits X number, you can decide on a lifestyle goal. Well, if my crypto portfolio or this asset I'm holding hits this number, I get to clear my mortgage. And that would be a life-changing event for me. And it wouldn't matter if the whole crypto portfolio blew up the next year, the next week. I now have no mortgage. You know, so this is how you plan your investment strategy. You plan it on actual tangible events, tangible things that you can achieve, then you execute when you hit to them. Just like I had the plan of Chainlink hits 28, I sell. It was front running the price to 30. But that's sort of how I manage my portfolio, how I think about this thing. And it takes planning, you know, all this stuff takes planning. It takes sitting down, it takes doing the work when you could be watching reality TV or whatever good stuff. I'd be watching motorbikes going around in circles on the telly because that's what I'm into. But you know, it does take a bit of planning. But I do believe that if you're in crypto, you need to have a plan. You need to have a plan of action and you execute it. And it's not just, oh, should I sell because someone said Bitcoin's gone to 20K? Should I buy because someone said Bitcoin's gone to 100K? Everything is strategized. That's how I do it. That's sort of how I do it with my one-on-one consulting. I get people to create it. It's how I do it with my boot camps. I get people to create strategies, write them down, even if they're very simple. Start with a simple strategy. You can add layers to it, but just get yourself down with a simple strategy and build from there. Guys, I hope you got some value. I've been on here for nearly 30 minutes and I'm burning up. I'm sweating. I'm working harder than I was on the punch bag earlier. Thanks for the support. I hope you got some value out of those questions. Thanks for the questions. If you do have any other questions, pop them in the comments and I will jump on the live again and answer them. It's Saturday evening. Have a good evening. Thanks everyone for being here. Appreciate the likes. Appreciate you being part of the crypto community. Bit of crack. And yeah, the journey is spread the Bitcoin love to the world. Spread the Bitcoin love to Ireland. Doesn't mean we're Bitcoin maxis because we can make a lot of money holding Ethereum. We can make a lot of money holding Chainlink. We can make a lot of money with stablecoins. We can leverage all that stuff to accumulate more Bitcoin. That's my strategy anyway. Guys, have a super Saturday. Dinny out. Let's end that, lad. And how do we end this one? Oh yeah, boyo, come here to me now. Anyone know how to turn off YouTube? Maybe it's the X, is it? Are you sure you want to stop streaming? I am. Good luck to yous.